Hello everybody. I'm very pleased that you've joined me to have another discussion about black and white film photography, while of course enjoying a coffee. I have just finished mine. Delicious. One of the drawbacks about shooting black and white film has been getting the film processed. Commercial labs do a moderately good job of it, sometimes excellent, but you just never know. It's unpredictable. It's expensive, and there's this big time lag. Also, it takes you out of the flow of making an image, and I use that word making an image more than I do when I say digital, because digital is a lot of computers doing a lot of interesting things. Very good things, mind you. But there's something very special and more artistic, but your personal involvement with black and white and film is just something very special. I love it. So let's say now you've gone out with a 35mm camera, loaded up with a roll of HP5+. I would mention HP5+ is without question my favorite film. It is superb. It ranks very close to, oh dear. It ranks, in my books, as a better film with a little bit more latitude than Tri-X. But in any event, here we have an exposed roll of film. Now, getting it processed is what we're about to do. Because when it's all said and done, you want to come up with negatives. These are negatives that are archival. They will last certainly hundreds and hundreds of years. And I kind of like the fact that we're dealing with silver, a precious metal, rather than pixels and electronics. That's just me. And I also like the fact that you cannot manipulate, you cannot change people's heads and one thing and another on these. You need to be more careful, and you need to slow down when you're going shooting. That if you are a digital shooter, and I'm not recommending, by the way, that you should give up digital shooting at all, but it will improve your digital photography as well. So the task at hand then is to get together some chemistry, tank, reels, and one thing and another, to give you everything that you need to do this all at home. So give me a moment and be right back. Here we have everything that you need to process your film. The Ilford chemistry kit here, it's called a starter pack. It's simplicity. There's sufficient chemistry in here to process 2 rolls of film. Well, it's very convenient. The chemistry comes to you in packets like this that you simply dilute with water. Room temperature. It doesn't need to be distilled water. And it makes each one of these packets of 4, or rather of 3, will make 600 milliliters of working chemistry. The 4th packet in there is used very sparingly at the very end, just before you hang up the film to dry, is to get rid of water spots. Now the chemistry in here, you dilute here with 600 milliliters of tap water. The developer is only sufficient to do 2 rolls of film. So what I suggest is you're going to preserve the rest of your chemistry, being the stop bath and fixer. You're going to want to get yourself a storage bottle or 2 to store this chemistry, that you can use it time and time again. When it comes time to replacing the developer, I speak very highly of Ilford ID11. The copy of this formula is the well-known developer Kodak D76. So now, you're going to need a Patterson developing tank, I recommend, that comes with 2 reels. Now I'm going to show you something very interesting here. Here it is configured for 35mm, which is what we're going to be processing. But this reel, twisted and expanded, it expands so that you have a reel now that will do medium format, any of the 120 films. So this is a real bonus with Patterson, no question about that. Here we have a thermometer. I picked this up, I think, at Walmart for about $5. It's an electronic critter, and it really works just fine. The tank, of course, will hold 2 rolls of film. It's light tight. Excellent. I'll explain to you a little bit later why the scissors are necessary. You need to cut the tang off your exposed film before you load it onto the reel. A funnel is always very handy for transferring the chemistry to your storage bottles. And this is simply the spigot on which the film reels rest on, and clips to when you're drying your film. So now, there's one other little operation here which requires a tool. Exposed roll of film. This critter here is metal and it's sealed. It's completely light tight, but you need to get it open. And so what I use is a pair of pliers. You can use big, small, or whatever. And the idea is that you would simply, in the complete darkness, clamp this on here and pry it off. Bring out the spool in the middle, and then your film is there, exposed for you. And then you would take the scissors and clip off that tongue. But we will get to that specifically in the next little segment, which is the all-important thing, is getting the film correctly loaded on the Patterson reel. It's easy, it's simple, but it takes a little bit of practice. We're now ready to load your exposed roll of film onto this reel. Now, before you pluck off the end here of the cassette so you can remove the film that's on the spool, I strongly suggest that you take a fresh roll of film, unexposed roll of film, because I'm going to suggest that you need practice in daylight rather than giving this a go for the first time in complete darkness. So pull out some film, fresh roll of film. You're going to lose, 6 or 7 exposures. Cut this off. Now we have on here this tang. This needs to be cut because it needs to go on square to the reel. Scissors. Now this reel has 2 aligning points here and here, right? You want to be in this position here. Film. Persnickety film. Loads on this way. See these little ball bearings here? You need to pull the film past those ball bearings. Now it is secure, and it's now a delightful thing. You just simply ratchet the reel this way, and you're good to go. When you come to the very end, you'll come to the spool again, scissors. Once it's completely loaded, you will then, on the spigot, into the tank. We'll come back to that, but do practice threading this on the reel. It'll save you using a lot of strong language and stuff like that. Okay, so practice, 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 so when you're in total darkness, you'll be very comfortable doing this. Well, now, you've successfully, in complete darkness, have loaded your film onto the Patterson reel. And of course, all of this is happening now, imagine, in complete and total darkness. Film on reel, into the tank, lid. Locked nice and securely. Perfect. There is a small agitating spigot here that goes in here. I like to use it. Some people don't. You do not want to regularly go like this and twiggle around too much because you will get streaks on your film. But nevertheless, it is there. We now have a watertight lid. So there we are. We're ready to start processing. Now I want you to understand that when this is off, you can pour your chemistry. Pour your chemistry in here, and this still remains light tight. So once you're in this condition, now you turn on all the lights, and you can begin the processing. First with the developer, stop bath, fixer, water bath, then a rinse in the wetting solution. Now each of the three primary chemicals, one is the developer, the stop bath, and the fix, as I mentioned, all come in a packet like this, which you simply unscrew the top and dilute with 600 milliliters of water. You're going to need three storage, or not storage bottles, but 3 bottles. Could be a mason jar, it could be something from the kitchen, whatever it is, and have them all lined up. Developer, stop bath, and fix. Do not get them confused. That's very important. And I would also mention to you that the Ilford chemistry, in all cases, but with this Simplicity Starter Kit, none of this chemistry is in any way a biohazard or anything like that. It's eco-friendly. Mind you, you're not going to make a cocktail with it, but it's harmless. You're not going to have any difficulties whatsoever for yourself, your family, or for the ecology. So next we move on to the actual processing. A thermometer is needed, of course. You need to keep your chemistry at 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius. And I think we're just about right on here. 19, yeah, there we are, 20.2. That's good. The temperature is quite important. The warmer the chemistry, the more active it is, and therefore it changes your time. It can also increase the grain on your film, so be aware of that. Well, here we go. We have you have successfully loaded your film in complete darkness into the tank. You have your chemistry set at 20 degrees Celsius, and now to begin the processing. Developer is first, and since we're only processing one roll of film, we don't need the entire volume of 600 milliliters rather. We only need 300. Spigot. Start timer. Put on the lid. This lid now makes this tank so that you can invert it. At the beginning of the process, I recommend 4 inversions and a good tap to eliminate any little bubbles that may have formed on the film. So the developing time here is 6.5 minutes. Followed by a stop bath, which is going to be 30-40 seconds. Then we're going to go to the fixer. So we will assume the time has passed for 6.5 minutes. We're now going to save this developer. It's good for 2 rolls of film. Have a container each for the developer, stop bath, and fix. Empty. This is where a funnel is very important. Now we will add the stop bath. This is when the little twirling spigot on that on the rod that holds the film reel is very handy. This doesn't take very long at all, and it's not necessary in this case to do any inversions. Empty this into another storage bottle, and now we add the fix. This is the same cycle as for the developer, except it's 4 minutes. One inversion, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I should have mentioned during the 6.5 minutes for the developer, you have the 4 initial inversions, and then you go to one inversion every minute. So for the moment, we're going to let this rest here. Then we're going to wash the film, then hang it up, and we're going to find out just how successful and beautiful our negatives are. You have now taken the fixer out, put it in a storage bottle for future use. And now it is a question of washing the film. Cleanliness, wonderful. It's recommended that we do 4 washing cycles. And this is particularly when I like this little spigot here. So we'll say this is cycle 1. Number 2. And 30 seconds, just light turning the little spigot here. And don't be overly aggressive about that either here or most especially in the developer. We empty this. We are going to fill it one more time, and we're going to add to it some of this wetting agent. This prevents unnecessary water droplets drying on the film, which is a real pain. So it requires only a very small amount. Requires 1 capful to the total volume of 600 milliliters. Assuming that we have all of that in here right now, we only have water. I always like to go for about a minute. They say maybe 10 seconds is enough. For me, I like to go for a full minute. So then we are able to take our film out and view our magnificent photography. Just a moment. Now let's imagine that there's a great drum roll celebrating our removing the film safely processed in Ilford chemistry with Patterson tank and reels. Our film comes off the reel extremely easily. Just give it a gentle pull. There we are. Handling the film while it's still wet and your hands are wet is perfectly safe. You will not be leaving any fingerprints on it. What you want to do now is put a clip on each end And I suggest you take this to your perhaps your bathroom, hang it over the shower where the shower curtain is. It'll take about 45 minutes to an hour to dry. But it's nice to do all of this in a dust-free environment. So after it's dry, we'll have a look at these negatives. Maybe I'll even make a print from one of them. I'm very pleased. Looks good. Back in a few moments. Well, more like half an hour. Welcome back, my friends. And we have a great celebration here. The negatives are perfect. It's so satisfying I've cut them, by the way, the negatives one's dry. I cut them in lengths of 6, inserted them into these storage page. It's so satisfying to have something that is a physical result of your creativity and your craftsmanship. It's something to be valued. That goes beyond the fact that it's considered more of an art form and the fact that it is archival. What I have done is I've made a print from that roll of film. I'm working on a project on street people with really generous support and help and encouragement from Ilford via Ambulance Photo. Ambulance Photo is the Canadian distributor for Ilford products. And by the way, everything that was in the, or almost everything, all the chemistry for sure, and the Patterson tanks and reels are available online from Ambulance or your favorite retailer. So, if you're interested in buying a print, it would really help this project. The price for a signed print is $80. That's tax included and includes the postage. And your support would really be appreciated. And I have very much enjoyed spending time with you once again, doing photo stuff, you know? And we're going to talk more in another episode about the alternatives that you have when processing your film. And there are lots, because Ilford offer a wide variety of developers, and each one of them has a particular quality to it that'll suit circumstances better than others. So this becomes a very personalized thing when analyzing the look that you're after, and it makes you more personally identified with it, because you can change the dilution rates of the developer, you can increase the developing time, there's stand processing, there's all sorts of really interesting things for us to explore together. So, until next time, my friends, I appreciate your being here with me. Take care, and good shooting to all of you. Bye for now.